So before we even talk about executing the step up, we need to make sure that we are set up correctly, and the number one mistake that I see is using a bench or box that is just too high for you. When we're doing this exercise for the glutes, what we want to make sure that we're able to do is hinge at the hips slightly while maintaining a neutral spine. And if this bench was much higher, I'd either have to remain upright or I would have to round at the back in an attempt to hinge. Now, a good rule of thumb is to choose something that's below your kneecap, and we can sort of calibrate from there. The bench for me works quite well, but if you're a little bit shorter, maybe your bench is a little bit too high. And if you find that to be the case, grab something like a bumper plate and just place it down on the floor. And what that'll do is essentially elevate you or kind of bring down the height of the thing that you're stepping onto, and it will make it a little bit easier for you to get into this position and execute this well for the glutes. Next, I'm going to highly recommend that you set this up somewhere where you can hold on with one arm and hold a single dumbbell in the other arm, or hold a cable if you so choose. If you've tried that variation and you like it, that's totally fine with me. Now, I like to hold on with the same leg that I am working, but that is not mandatory. If you want to hold on with your left hand while your right leg is up and hold the dumbbell in the same side as the leg that is working, that's totally cool. I prefer, when I'm working my left leg, to be holding on with my left arm and have my right arm holding the dumbbell. That is what I prefer, but it really isn't a big deal. Now, a lot of you guys are going to hear holding on and you're going to think it's some weakness thing. It's not a crutch. It's not a regression. It's not something I'm telling you to do because I don't think you can do a step up without it. Holding on and pulling with the arm a little bit is going to help you execute this movement even better and get a better stimulus where you want it in the glutes. Now I'm going to show you some reps and then we'll talk about what I'm doing with my arm that's holding on. So what holding on is going to allow me to do, it's going to allow me to sit my body weight backwards so that as I bend this knee, right, I have a roughly 90-degree angle here. I'm not driving that knee forward and engaging more quad than I want. And so you're holding on for two main reasons. Number one, it's going to allow me to sit my hips back, right, and end with this sort of right angle here, which is going to be really great for the glutes. And number two, it's going to allow me to turn my back leg off. For a lot of you guys, this is what step ups tend to look like, where this back leg is propelling you up every single rep. Now, no matter how hard I try to turn this leg off, it's still going to push off a little bit and give me more help than I would like to, and it's going to do so in an explosive manner, which we really don't want. And so holding on is going to allow me, like you saw, to just tap the floor and come right back up. And so I'm absolutely pulling with this left arm. I am pulling enough to allow myself, or let me rephrase, I'm pulling as much as I need to turn my back leg off. I would rather pull with my arm and tap my toe and come back up than hold on softly and pop myself up with that back leg. And so I'm holding on as much as I need to allow myself to not use this back leg. As you can see, my right toe is just tapping the floor and coming back up. And so holding on is not a crutch, it's not a weakness, it's not even a balance thing, it's not a regression. You're holding on and you're pulling with your arm so you can sit your hips back more, make this more of a glute dominant movement, and pulling a little bit so you can turn your back leg off. Frankly, you're pulling as much as you need to negate the use of that back leg. I'll show you a couple more reps. We'll talk about it a bit more. Now, if you can't logistically find a place in your gym, in your home, to hold on to something, and you're just gonna do it without holding on, that's totally fine, but I ask that you do two things. Number one is that you go even more conservative with your box height. If you're not holding on and the box is too high, your back leg is going to help a ton. So I would go conservative with the box height if you're not going to hold on. And so if you're torn between, not using the plate or using the plate with your bench, I would grab the plate. Now I'm very happy to help with that, so please send a form video and I'll let you know my thoughts if I think you should go with a little higher box or a little lower box. I'm happy to weigh in. And the second thing is try really freaking hard not to use your back leg. And so I'll show you what that would look like if I were going to do this without holding on. Now for me, if I wasn't gonna hold on, I might actually grab this plate and bring it over here just for a little bit of extra security where I don't need to use this back leg. And it would look something a little bit more like this, where I'm still leaned forward, sticking the glutes out, looking for that 90-degree-ish knee angle here, trying not to use that back leg, working on the eccentric. But as you can see, if you watch my back leg, I'm trying not to use it, but it's pretty damn hard. And so if you do have a spot that you can set yourself up while holding on, I know that this will be a better movement for most of you if you can do it with holding on. If not, it's still really great. Just try really hard not to use that back leg and make sure that you go a little bit conservative with the bench height. Now I'm going to show you a full set with a little voiceover of what's going on in my head as I go through the movement, and maybe that's helpful. Okay, so for me, I like to think of these as more of a step down, where I'm beginning the movement on the way down. And I'm thinking, break at the knees, push the hips back, stay lean forward, tap the toe, come right back up, extend the hips. Sit the hips back, bend the knee, tap the toe, come back up. Now I'm pulling with this arm as much as I need to turn this back leg off.